Hello there, everyone. It's me, Tesla. I'm here to talk about The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. This is more of a first impressions type of video, though, because I don't feel like waiting till I beat the game to actually talk about it. Because if I wait till then my opinion is probably going to change dramatically, and my interest in making a first impression won't be near as good. Um, let's see. To start it off, the Wii Motion Plus is very interesting. I don't really know how it works, but apparently the cursor doesn't move quite as frantically on the Wii Motion Plus, which helps a lot actually. But there are certain moments that it doesn't really work like it's supposed to, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But it does work for the most part, so I'm fine with it. The game starts off as Link having a nightmare or something, and Zelda, the heroine of this story, obviously, writes a letter to Link, and it shows the bird actually scaring him awake, giving him Zelda's letter. And what does she have to say in the letter? Wake up, sleepyhead, you have a competition today. Classic. So Link is a very late sleeper. And now, you have to go through this academy, figure out where the heck you're supposed to be going. Which is okay. And you can not rescue, but help people along the way. Even though you're supposed to be going to a competition, and they rag on you for helping, even though they're thankful for it. And once you leave outside, you meet probably one of my most annoyed characters in this game. A bully named Gross or something. I forget his exact name, but he's really just in this game to be a bully, and nothing really else. I really hate it when this is something I hate in animes too, where they insert a character whose only main purpose is to literally act as a stereotypical bully, with no real motivation except I'm bullying you because, well, just so I can. I mean, sure, I guess he gave him a little motivation for him being Zilla's favorite or something like that, but really, that's a stupid reason to bully someone. But I also find it a little creepy how Zelda is always right around the corner whenever this guy shows up. Almost like she stalks this guy just to make sure that he doesn't pick on Link. Creepy. But anyway, um, you and Zelda share some small talk, and she talks about how you need to practice on your bird for the competition. You tell her how you can't sense your bird, but she pushes you off the cliff, basically sentencing you to certain death if your bird doesn't come. And when you know it, the bird doesn't come. So now Zelda is in a rush to try and save him before he dies to an untimely death. Our heroine, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, she apologizes for acting rashly, because, she almost killed our main hero. And then she helps you try to find your bird. However, you, eavesdrop on the bully that, just bullied you, and how about how he said that he locked your bird up so you can't participate, and so that he'll win. Normally, this would actually, get him kicked out of the academy, but this is like based on anime where that kind of stuff never really happens. But hey, what can you do? Besides, you're a goody-goody, so you're not going to do that anyway. But instead, Zelda just helps you look some more. And eventually you find out from someone who was eavesdropping on Gross, again. Jeez, this guy has more people eavesdropping him than ever before. Sorry, I can't think of any good examples off the top of my head. But regardless, it's apparently locked up in some sort of waterfall cave. But apparently Gross seems to be friends with monsters since they're swarming the place. It wouldn't surprise me. And to that extent, you need a sword so you can survive. So you go to your sword teacher, and you get one from there. from him, and he'll let you borrow it so that you can get your bird back. And he will actually teach you on how to use your sword better. And the controls in this are actually a little bit different than Twilight Princess. Whereas that one, you could just swing the Wiimote like a madman. In this one, the game actually rewards you for being a little more technical with it, which I like. It's pretty nice, actually. And as you go into the Waterfall Cave, you fight monsters in here that are actually pretty smart compared to monsters from other 3D Zelda games. If you just try to swing badly at them, the bats in particular will actually fly above you, and their eyes will glow red, and they'll dash at you really quickly. So if you just try to dash like a madman, you're gonna get hit, because your swings will not hit it. What you're actually supposed to do is, as it's dashing towards you, sidestep a little bit, and then hit him as he's passing you. And I kind of like this. The game rewards you for actually thinking, and that's cool. Anyways, you find your bird, and Zelda celebrates with you, and she teaches you how to, in a tutorial, how to fly your bird better. Or in your case, how to fly it at all. In the tutorial, this actually looks kind of fun, because the way you use it is pretty standard. At least, that's what you would think. But I'll get into that in a minute. After tutorial, she thanks you yet again, and goes to tell her father, the mayor. And then the bully shows up again and taunts you about how the sailcloth that she made is going to go to the winner of the competition, and that's going to be him. Yeah, we've heard this before. And again, this girl must have the speed of Sonic the Hedgehog, since he's already had time to go talk to her father, and is back in time to rag on the bully some more. Seriously, what the crap? Unless the whole "I'm gonna tell my dad" thing was a front so that he would show up. But regardless, the competition finally begins. And apparently everyone must know that the bully is behind all this crap because they rag on him for not doing a fair race. No, seriously, they rag on just him. Or at least the mayor does. So, here's my question. If they know he's this kind of person, why are they even letting him compete? It's basically saying, oh, we know you're usually doing foul play, but we're certainly sure you're not going to do it this time. Yeah, I bet. These people are so stupid. Anyway, the race finally starts. And this is one major complaint I think I have with Skyward Sword. Though, from what I can tell, this part of the game isn't used very often, so I can ignore it. And that's the flying in this game. It is the worst controls I've ever seen. Because none of the controls ever seem to work right when you're flying. Whenever I try to have the bird fly up, I have to swing either the Wiimote or the nunchuck to actually make him rise. But I have to do it so much before he'll actually listen to me. Like, I seriously have to shake it so fast and hard that my wrist gets tired every time I do it. And you have to do this several times throughout this race, so it's kind of annoying. They give you charges that you can use to go really fast, but the speed only lasts for about 4 or 5 seconds before you have to do it again. And again. And again. I swear this is the only way to even go fast on this bird, because the normal speed is crap. Playing through these flying controls really makes me wish I had opponent back at this point. And once you manage to get to the Falcon statuette, apparently they do exactly like they were accused of doing, foul play, by throwing eggs at you so that you keep getting knocked back. Yeah, try to do these flying controls while getting bombarded with eggs and see how far you get. Anyway, I finally get to it again, the match is over, and then there's a scene that happens which makes you think that Link and Zelda are actually going to kiss, which is what everyone has wanted to see for the longest time, but she fakes you out and just has you jump off a cliff instead. Hate you, Nintendo. But anyway, jumping into this circle is a lot harder than you would think, since the wind is apparently against you, since it keeps trying to blow you left and right. So you gotta be just perfect on how you rotate on this sailcloth, which acts like a Deku leaf. since it makes you float down really slowly. The only main difference with this is that it doesn't take magic to use, which is a huge plus for me. Now, the problem with this thing, though, is it's used very little, and half the time I don't even need to use it at all, because it's basically only used so you won't get hurt from big falls. After this, the competition's finally over, and you and Zelda fly off into the sunset, and she talks about going to the surface, because she's curious about what's been going on the surface for all these years. And she apparently gets her wish, since a giant evil tornado of plot convenience shows up and sucks her in. Link valiantly tries to fight against it to rescue her, but the evil tornado of plot convenience refuses this and just knocks him back and injures him, forcing the bird to take him back to town. When you wake up, you tell the king about what's happened. And, well, not much is said. He just says to wait till the morning and they'll discuss it. But then you see a weird, shadowy female figure that keeps calling your name. So you follow her, and follow her, and follow her, and follow her some more. Yeah, you do a lot of this. But she eventually shows you to a temple of some kind, and you go in there, and you see a sword and a pedestal. Gee, I wonder what this could be. Regardless, she tells you that it seems like you're questionable about picking it up, but she says that you'll be able to rescue Zelda if you pick up the sword. So you do so. And you get not the Master Sword, not the, I forget. There was actually a sword before the Master Sword that was in Zelda 1, but I forgot what that is. But it's the Goddess Sword, because apparently Master Sword is not good enough. Regardless, the king just appears out of nowhere. At least I think he's supposed to be a king. I think he's more like a mayor in this one, but regardless. He tells you about he's been waiting for a hero all these years, and he wasn't expecting him to come in his lifetime. But it turns out to be Link. And now Link must go on a journey to rescue Zelda and stop the evil that is affecting the world or something. You know the drill. And apparently you have to do a Skyward Strike, which is apparently where you absorb light into your sword to shoot a shockwave, which will open up doors and injure enemies from afar. If you've played Link to the Past or Four Swords Adventure, then this move would seem familiar to you, since in those games Link could also use a shockwave through his sword by empowering it with light. Although in Link to the Past, by empowering it with light, it pretty much means stay at full health. But regardless, once you do so, a path opens to the surface and you can fly there. But you need a shield and potions before you can really progress safely. And here's another interesting change to the game. Shields are not completely invulnerable. They actually have a stamina meter of their own. So after you use them enough, they will break. Hallelujah! They finally nerfed the shield. You have no idea how long I've waited for that. Because ever since Ocarina of Time, I've always been annoyed by this. Why is the shield so broken? Like, if you have it out, you're virtually protected against everything. If you have the Hylian shield. And I just found that to be so cheap. I mean, I never used it that much. But the option was always there. If I was ever having trouble with a boss, just whip out my shield. Problem solved most of the time. Of course, bosses weren't really that hard to begin with, but that's not the point. But the fact that they finally figured out that they made a mistake with the shield and it fixed it, I love it. So much. Combine that with the difficulty of the enemies, and the fact that Link himself is a lot more easier to use than in Twilight Princess. I love this game. Now, as you go to the surface, I'm assuming you have to use your sailcloth here, otherwise a fall like that will probably kill you. So I do. And that seems to be the main point of the sailcloth, is so that you can actually go to the surface. Though how Zelda would know this is anyone's guess. I mean, maybe she just figured that they were going to go to the surface at some point, I suppose, or maybe her father told her that this might happen. But regardless, you go to the surface and you appear in some sort of temple or something, and you use a Skyward Strike on some sort of I don't know what it is actually, but it makes wind tunnels appear and makes a door, I think, open to another area. Now, unlike the Wind Waker tunnels, where it was where you had to jump in order to use the wind tunnels, in these you can just walk into them and they'll automatically take you up. Freaking awesome! It makes it a whole lot easier to get around, that's for sure. I also forgot to explain that you can actually dash in this game by holding down the A button, which will actually make Link run really fast, which is pretty cool. But it uses up a stamina meter, so once you're at that, then Link gets really exhausted, and you have to wait for it to recover. Though it does recover really fast if you do this. Though there are stamina fruits scattered all throughout this game, where if you pick it up, then it will automatically refill the stamina meter. And they're in so close proximity with each other that you could literally run forever if you pick up the fruit enough. So that's really nice. However, moving on. You go further into the temple and you meet this random shaman, whatever she is, that has literally been waiting for thousands of years for you to show up. I'm not kidding. But she gives you a chest which gives you some invulnerability potion, which, at least I think it's an invulnerability potion. No, it's like a potion that recovers your shield stamina gauge and heals 4 hearts. I had 2 of those at this point, because I figured the shield was going to be important. Regardless, she opens up another path to a new forest-like area, and this is as far as I got. And the spirit of the God Sword essentially acts kind of like Navi in this game, where she'll have some sort of dowsing option where she can help you find your lost friends by picking up her signal somehow. And she also gives you hints on what to do next. Although I've heard people complaining that she does this a little too often, and she pretty much just holds your hand through this entire game, but I really don't care. If she does, if she doesn't really bother me. It's not like this is Metroid, where the exploration is key. I just want to explore and beat up dudes, so all's well with me. And here's where I actually got into my first dangerous situation. A fight against 5 goblins to protect a Goron explorer. These goblins are pretty smart. They'll put their swords right in front of you to where you can't hit them, except by one direction. And you have to pay attention too, because they're quick. They will constantly shift their sword to a different location. So you'll have to adjust your swings accordingly to hurt them. I got the crap beat at me from these guys, and I enjoyed every second of it. I mean, this game would be hard, but it's freaking fun. Like, there's very few games I can actually say that about, but the combat in this is great. Admittedly, I haven't fought any bosses yet, so those might get really annoying. But hey, I don't have a problem with that. But they give you the chance to save often anyway, so I'm sure it won't be that big a deal. But that's as far as I got, people. On my first impression, what score would I give this? Probably an 8 out of 10. The flying controls are very stupid, and I really don't like them. I really think Nintendo should have actually proof-tested the flying controls a bit better and actually fix them a little bit. But aside from that, the game is pretty much perfect as far as I'm concerned. There's really nothing bad about this game except for maybe the idiotic bully character, which I don't really see why they put him in this game. He really serves no purpose other than to just annoy the player. But that's okay. He's very much ignored, and I don't think we're going to see him after the competition. So, that's fine. I will see you guys next time, with maybe some more impressions of this game as I play more of it. See ya.